A woman testifying today that she was Bob Bashara's sexual slave in that room where she claims he served as master.
That testimony just added to the evidence against Bashara as the judge decided to send him to trial for the murder of his wife.
The judge heard from more than 30 witnesses. 7 Action News reporter Kim Russell has a look at why one woman says she had her living in fear.
I went to church with Jane and Bob every Sunday. I went to Rotary with Bob. I went to community projects. I went to the movies with him and his mother.
We aren't showing you her face at the request of the judge, but this is Vanita Porter. When she started testifying, it seemed her story would be simple. Then the prosecutor asked if she knew about a certain property that belonged to Bob Bashara.
I lived there.
You live in the dungeon?
I painted it.
You heard her right. Porter lived in a dungeon where Bob Bashara acted out sexual fantasies. He was the master, she was the slave.
Generally be a little spanking. There were a few occasions where he got a little crazier, and when we were playing, he choked me. I have a kind of bony neck, and I would get very dizzy and unconscious. I didn't particularly like it. And I would mention being uncomfortable. He would back off. That wouldn't happen for months until I'd be a little more comfortable, and then surprise, surprise, it might happen again.
Porter says Bob Bashara told her he and his wife planned a divorce when their kids were out of school. Porter thought they would then start a life together. But then she caught Bob Bashara cheating on her with Rachel Gillette. And Porter says Bob threatened her when he thought that Porter might get between them.
I know people, cause trouble for me.
How did you take that to mean, I know people?
I took that to mean that I better protect myself and my children.
That testimony is key because prosecutors say that Bob Bashara did commit violence for Rachel Gillette, that he killed his wife Jane so that he could start a new life with Rachel. Now even Rachel Gillette is expected to testify against him when he goes to trial. At the Frank Murphy Hall of Justice, Kim Russell, 7 Action News.
One man we did not hear from at the preliminary exam is handyman Joe Gentz. The 49-year-old pled guilty to second-degree murder and is serving a minimum of 17 years in prison. He says Bashara offered to pay him to kill Jane and then forced him at gunpoint to follow through. Prosecutors apparently didn't need his testimony to make their case at the preliminary exam, but we may hear from him at the trial.